Are we live? Oh, we're live. Welcome everyone to Productive Environment Podcast, PEPTalk. I'm Andrea Anderson with Productive Environment Institute, and this is Barbara Hemphill. And I have to just go ahead and tell y'all, we're using a new platform for the first time. We have switched from our previous platform that we're used to, and now we're using a new platform. And Ed's, our Wind Beneath Our Wings assistant, is off today. We have been left unattended.
Sounds dangerous.
Doesn't it? We're going to have some fun together, though. I assume we are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. She set us up yesterday, so I think we're good to go. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. And I didn't put up our cover slide, so I want to tell you our topic for today. It is organize, overcome, and thrive. Lessons from the PEI Retreat 2024. So organize, overcome, and thrive. And I have to tell you, Barbara, I took the topics of our retreat speakers. We had our retreat here in Carolina Beach last week, and it was truly one of the best retreats we have ever had.
Absolutely.
Right. And we had half of the group. Well, there was thirds. So a third and a third and a third. A third of the group was our PEI team. So it was Barbara, myself, Stephanie Richter, who's one of our coaches, my mom, who's on the back end team. And then Alfred, your husband, was part of our team.
And Demetrius.
And Demetrius is part of our team. That's right. We were missing Ed's in the Philippines and Austin, but we had most of our team here. Also joined by our team of some of our certified productive environment specialists, including 2 trainees. They're brand new. They're in the program and they're learning to become certified specialists. And then also for the first time joined by our amazing SOAR members. Our SOAR is a program that we have following our boot camps where you learn to systemize, organize, activate so you can relate. And the relate part is building relationships, and whatever it is, whatever your life endeavors are, if it's your business or volunteer work or being a caregiver, whatever that is. And so we just had a ball here in Carolina Beach, and I just wanted to share some pictures with everybody and talk about some of the key points, key learnings, key takeaways from these amazing speakers. And also want to let you know that we have invited these speakers to do a webinar with us. So you will be able to hear from these speakers and hear some of the things that they shared at the retreat, which I think is just going to be amazing. So, Barbara, do you want to add anything before I just start sharing pictures and just start talking?
Well, what you can, it was a glorious week for me. I enjoy face-to-face so much. We've spent so much time in Zoom, and to give people hugs and have a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, go out to eat. And I do have to say that one of the things that was so awesome was the weather. God blessed us. We were at the beach. We had people from California and Texas and New Jersey and Virginia and Chicago. And the weather was beautiful enough that one of the days we ate outdoors on the deck overlooking the ocean, which was just fabulous. But what especially touched my heart was that every restaurant that we went to, we had the wait staff was so gracious, and the hotel was so gracious. And it just made me happy because it was like they got to see Southern hospitality in action. And we had such a good time because there was so much support there. And it was wonderful to have our certified productive environment specialists there, our coaches there. We've had people who've coached us. Stephanie Richter was just fantastic. And then the people who are clients. So having this all together was really an amazing, one of our values is together we are better. And this was a perfect example of that. So
it truly was. So I'm going to just share my screen and give you guys a little bit of context first. This is the actual, so this is the Marriott, the Courtyard Marriott, oceanfront. All of the rooms are oceanfront at the Courtyard Marriott in Carolina Beach. And so this was our setting. And I'm just going to go briefly through our agenda to show you some of the speakers. So Barbara kicked us off, and we really, one of the themes was, what does our tagline is accomplish your work and enjoy your life. So what does accomplish your work and enjoy your life mean to you? And we had many conversations about that throughout, not just during the speaking. Some of the best times came during, and you'll see in the pictures, during sitting in the lobby by the fake fire, which I'll show you guys soon. But let me just introduce you to our speakers for a minute briefly. I mean, Mitzi Beach, or Missy Beach was at the beach. Mitzi was amazing. She has, you'll see several pictures with her books in the pictures. You'll see those soon. But she's all about life-sizing, you creating a space in your home for aging in place, but that is beautiful. It doesn't have to be, hospital or institutional looking. And she helps you overcome, these attitudes that may keep you stuck. I'm not going to go through her whole presentation here, but definitely stay tuned. You will hear from Mitzi when we do a live webinar with her, and you'll see lots of pictures with her as well. Dinah Weiss was, cultivating mental fitness. Now, Dinah and Mitzi are both members of our SOAR program. They are clients and they are members of our community. And they just came and shared their expertise, which is just so amazing. And you'll see some pictures of Dinah's workshop here too. And I definitely encourage you to stay tuned when you hear about when we're going to be doing Dinah's webinar. I'm just going through these quickly so you can see the faces. And then Stephanie Richter is our coach. Barbara and I both work with Stephanie, and she talked about how to get unstuck, take consistent action, and build momentum. She was fantastic. It was, just everybody, all the speakers just kind of blended so perfectly together. We took a little vacation, not a little vacation. We took a field trip. We took a field trip at the end of a very busy, content-packed, fabulous day. And we went to the Cape Fear Festival of Trees at the aquarium at Fort Fisher. And I'm going to share some pictures that came from there. And there's our albino alligator. And I actually, this picture here is not my picture. This is from their website, but I got a good picture of the albino alligator. And you guys, I can't wait for you to see those pictures. And while on the agenda, I actually put the sunset on the agenda and planned the time that we would be leaving the aquarium so that we would be driving and everyone would be able to see the beautiful sunset. And it could not have been more perfect. So everything was perfect. And then we went to some fabulous, wonderful restaurants here in Carolina Beach. Then we heard from Demetrius, Organize for Transformation, how to strengthen your body, your business, and your brain. And so his main 4 pillars that he talked about were connection, structure, accountability, and consistency. And we'll talk a little bit about how those play into Productive Environment Institute. Then one of our veteran CPESs, Carrie Thomas. Some of you may recognize Carrie if you've been around our community for long. And Carrie talked about how to unlock your productivity power, embrace your unique learning style. And this was a favorite. This was a favorite topic. I think all of them were fabulous, but this was a favorite because we really got into, all the systems that we teach. Carrie talked about how you can customize them to fit you. Because in our boot camps, in our office transformation boot camp, I teach literally exactly what Barbara teaches. Barbara, how you created the system for organizing paper so that you can find it. I teach it pretty much by the book from you. Carrie is she takes that and says, okay, if this piece isn't working for you, let's figure out something else that may work for you, depending on what kind of learning style you have. If you're a visual or a kinesthetic or an auditory learner. And so
she did. One of the interesting things there for me was she had us do this little quiz about whether we were a visual, an auditory, or kinesthetic learner. And I did not realize how kinesthetic I am. I really didn't. I knew I was to some extent, but I had no idea. And then it was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And I think, that fits in with the value that we teach. There are 2 values that we teach that fit in with what all the coaches talked about. Was first, it's the art of organizing. It really is. And part was what was fun with everybody there was seeing how people could do things in exactly the opposite way and be equally successful. And Carrie really helped that. And then the other one is, what will you do? Which we constantly are saying, you know, because people say, oh, what should I do? I keep saying, that's the wrong question. The question is, what will you do? And you will do it if it's fun. So an example was Dinah talked about how important, and other people, every speaker, what was so interesting to me was that every speaker reinforced what the previous one said. There was nothing contradictory. They all reinforced each other. But Dinah was that talked about how important it is to celebrate even the small steps. And I shared with the group that I have been very reluctant to celebrate. In fact, I remember when I was in the strategic coach with Dan Sullivan like 20 years ago, and he always talked about how entrepreneurs operated in the gap, meaning that we would accomplish something and then we'd say, but we didn't do this, which would be easier after a retreat. You know, like a retreat, you could say, oh, we didn't do this right, and we didn't do that right. And everybody, all the coaches said, you know, it's really important to celebrate success. And so I shared the thing that I was resistant to that. I thought, okay, what is it that I like to do? So how can I celebrate using something I like? Well, I love music. So I started singing amen. So like when I got something accomplished, even some little thing, I say, hey, amen, 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 amen. And it was like, because it was fun. And it was like, so that was
and we did that multiple times throughout the retreat because it was fun. And then Stephanie, I want to go back to each of these, Barbara. And if you just have something you want to share, or that you know, was something that a good takeaway from the event. I kind of went through them quickly. So what were your thoughts about Stephanie? Get unstuck, take consistent action. We did a little quiz thing with her as well. And like you said, it built on Dinah. It built on what Dinah had shared. It's all the mental fitness, the mindset. So anything you want to add about Stephanie?
Well, Stephanie really talked about the neuroscience behind our brain. And I just don't think we can underestimate. We do underestimate how the brain can heal us. Research shows that the things that happen to us from age 0 to 3 are so significant. And we don't even think about those things, but they do impact us. But how we can change them now. And she talked about brain primes, which I've been doing for a long time and really are powerful. And we, in Productive Environment, we have our 5 steps, starting with state your vision. Well, it has to be a vision. It's like, what is something that I can see myself doing? And she gave us some very specific ways that we could do that.
Exactly. Let me back up to Mitzi and just mention again, I just was so fascinated by her talk, just about being real. And what I took away from Mitzi was being intentional about your setting, which we talk about all the time, in your home. You know, if you want to be safe and healthy in your home for a long time, or you're looking forward to moving somewhere else and being safe and healthy in your home, some things to consider. And I just was really fascinated with her story, her books, Door to Restoration, which you guys will see here in a minute. She's a very accomplished author. So any comments about Mitzi, and then I'll move back to the other ones.
Well, you know, productive environment is what we're all about. And she talks particularly about the function of a productive environment, but also the aesthetics of a productive environment. And she focuses especially on not having clutter, you know, that we just have too much stuff, and that ends up being not safe.
Right.
And also a cluttered space is a cluttered mind. And she's done a beautiful job of what she calls lifesizing, which is something that all of us should do at the different stages in our lives.
Exactly. So fantastic. I mentioned with Demetrius here that his core pillars are exactly what PEI's pillars are too. Is It's based on transformation, and he helps people in their physical. But as he says, I hope I get this right, Barbara, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what he says is the way we work out, because he's a fitness guy, the way we work out is the way we do everything. Yeah. So if we're inconsistent with our workout, exercise, movement, then we're inconsistent with other things in life.
I can remember when he first he took our training to become a certified productive environment specialist, and I remember the first time he said to one of his clients who'd come there to lose weight, "I want to see your office."
Yes, I want to see your office.
I came here to lose weight, and you want to see my office? Well, there is a direct correlation. I mean, how you work out is how you do everything. How you work is how you do everything.
That's right. He said, I want to see your office and I want to see your car.
Yeah.
Like inside your car.
Yeah. It's a really,
yeah.
It's like, I always think that's why a closet, I mean, I often joke about how your closet is really important, because you see it the first thing in the morning when you get up. And how does it make you feel? And one of the things we ask people about their environment, whatever that environment is how does this make you feel? And if that environment, whether it's your closet or your email, makes you feel anything negative, if it makes you feel fat or overwhelmed or whatever, then you're paying a terrible price for it. And the good news is it doesn't have to be true, because the thing that productive environment does that I think is just revolutionary is focusing on stopping the problem. When people think about clearing clutter, they think, oh, that means I've got to go through all these boxes, and I've got to go through all this email, and I've got to go through all these documents, and I've got to go through all these clothes. Well, yes, you do, but that is not where you start. Because if you just start by saying, okay, I can't get organized until I clear out all this stuff, you're never going to live long enough to do it. You're just not.
That's right.
So we focus on saying, all right, let's stop the problem. And then as it ties in with the retreat, it's like, why is it a problem? So we have the system in place for how to stop the problem. Yeah. But what the retreat focused on is, why aren't you stopping the problem? What is it that's preventing you? What is it in your mindset that is preventing you from stopping the problem?
Yeah, you're right. And one of a common theme with a lot of people, in one of the things that Demetrius talks about most in his kind of program that's connected to PEI, is sleep. It's not just about diet and exercise. It's sleep. It's water, but sleep is one of the number one things that we talk about, because lack of sleep just causes so many other issues. One of my favorite parts of the event was our panel. I mean, the speaker panel. And I felt like Phil Donahue running around with the microphone, running back and forth. That was so much fun, but man, that was powerful. So I think we have a good recording of that. So maybe we'll be able to share that later. But all of these speakers will be invited back to do a webinar. So I really want you guys to stay connected so you can be part of that. All right, it's not letting me close that. So there we go. The last one on here, then I want to jump over and share some pictures with you, is an activity that Barbara's dear husband did. And the only picture, everybody was so intrigued throughout the whole retreat, because they had this agenda, and all they saw on Alfred's agenda was some potatoes. So this was a powerful theme that Alfred wrapped us up with, called Follow Through. Do you want to mention anything about that? And then I know we have at least one picture of some people with some potatoes.
Yeah, well, we always say you can have a wonderful time, but if you don't do anything differently as a result of what you were there. So one of the things we invited people to do, I handed out an index card. If you've been around long, you know what a fan I am of index cards. And I handed out an index card and said, what is one action that you are going to take as a result of having been here? And when are you going to do it? By what time? And then write on it how you like to be communicated with, email or text or phone, and give it to me, and I will be your accountability partner. So the follow through is, if you just say, I'm going to put a straw through a potato, like, oh, well, there's some kind of magic trick, or that really wouldn't work. But I learned this years ago from Alfred. We've done it many times, that if you use the right technique, you can, in fact, put a straw through the potato. And the reason, if somebody tries to do it, it doesn't work, it's because they reach resistance. When the straw comes to it's like, oh, that'll never work, and you pull back. Well, that's what our brains do. It's exactly the same thing. When we say, I'm going to work on my website, or I'm going to call this client, or I'm going to do whatever, it's like, oh, this catch. It's the same thing that happens when the straw goes through. And if you see the picture of it, you'll see.
Yeah, I'll show you guys. You guys will see the picture. So we're just going to scroll through these, and these are great memories for us. We are putting together a fabulous video as well. This is my mom and Tony. My mom is on our team. Tony is a trainee, CPES trainee. I could stop and talk so much about each and every one of these pictures, but I'll try to keep going. Juliana and Carrie are two of our specialists as well. So they were great. And this was Tony outside in our beautiful oceanfront dining experience. That was fabulous. These pictures are not in order. We went to the aquarium. I mentioned that, and that this was our little field trip, which I kind of second guessed. I'm like, oh, do we have time to do that? And I almost took it off the agenda. It was cost money, buy tickets, all this, but man, everybody said how much they enjoyed it. It was a great.
Wonderful. Yeah, and it was such a reminder, I think, about how those of us, when we come back home, we could go there are things in our own neighborhood that we don't do.
I mean, it's 5 miles. It's not even 5 miles. It's like 3 miles away from me. And I haven't been in a while. This is my favorite picture of the entire retreat. And you guys will hear in a minute. We've got a couple of videos. This is an exhibit with a real aquarium with fish that you could sit down and lean back into. It was like a curved glass, and the acoustics were amazing. The reason Juliana is so shocked is because it feels like there's a speaker right in your ear as Pam was speaking to her. She could hear it like right in her ear. It was really neat. There's Barbara in it, and I've got a little song here that Barbara does, as well as one of our specialists. So we'll get to it. This was just some more pictures from the aquarium. It was amazing. This is Dan. He is one of our SOAR members. He's speaking. There you go. Those are the potatoes. So look, you guys, could you imagine the thought of sticking a straw through a potato? And these girls did it. Tony and Terry. These are our two.
Everybody was able to do it. People think they can't, and the only person that couldn't was someone who has a problem with their arm and couldn't put their arm straight. So that was a case of where they couldn't do it. But and some people thought they couldn't do it, but then somebody else would help them, and then that was the PEI value of together we are better.
That's right. Alfred said, once you get yours done, turn around and help somebody else that hasn't done it yet. Yeah. And I brought my magazine, my autographed Guidepost magazine, and Tony took a picture of it. My mom has given me and my siblings a subscription. She's here on the back end. Hey, Mom, I see you back there in the green room. So she has given us a subscription to Guidepost as long as I can remember. I mean, I read it all growing up, and then we went away to college. So when I saw that Barbara Hemphill was on the cover of Guidepost magazine, July of 1999, I was like starstruck. And so I brought it in and shared it, and Tony took a picture. This is one of the last days as people were exiting. These were some of the late leavers. So Tony, Pam, Dinah, and Dan. Pam, Dinah, and Dan are all SOAR members. Systemize, organize, activate, so you can relate. And PEI 2024. Tony, I just thank you so much for taking these pictures. Cool. There's Dinah. I love that she did this. I'm going to put her in charge of all the pictures and coordinating people next year. She did a fantastic job without even being asked. So Tony, thank you. Juliana, and here's Nancy in the middle. She's one of our SOAR members, and Tony. And there's me and Tony on our last day. We had one last dinner together after everybody left. Mitzi, Santa. That Santa was a talking Santa. And every time we would walk by, he would start talking to us. And Tony. And this was our last day as well. So I'm going to skip through these. I love this picture. I love the black and white. I think that is so great. Let me just go back and mention who was in this picture too, the ones you haven't seen yet. There's Liz. She's one of our specialists. And Anne. Liz is in North Carolina. Anne is in Virginia. Those are both specialists. And Terry as well. All right. And there's Mitzi's book, The Door to Restoration, one of her books.
Oh, fantastic. Such a beautiful story. It really is.
Yes, you guys can check that out on Amazon. Go take a look on Amazon, The Door to Restoration. And then also Design Smarts, Inspiration for Home and Life. So those are both on Amazon. Well worth the look. Again, Tony thought to put these books together and take a picture with Barbara. I love her that she thought about these things and the book placements and everything. Tony, you're definitely in. So yeah, I love that. All right, let's see. I think that was okay. There's Dan with the beach. Love, love, love. Dan traveled all the way from Portland, Oregon, all the way on the other side of the coast to Carolina Beach, North Carolina. I do want to play. Hopefully, you guys can hear. And I'm going to put these on time and a half to speed up. So Renee doesn't really talk this fast, but so just listen fast.
So Renee, what's your experience with the 2024 PEI retreat?
Well, it was really inspiring and very strengthening. It gives me some extra energy to get back and practice everything I've been learning all along. But the retreat was like the frosting on the cake for me.
So what will you take home from the retreat? What do you think your experience? What will you take home from it?
Well, each of the speakers, they sort of, but it also, what I got was the unifier. The thread was awareness of the things that can really mess us up. I've had a lot of experience with that. So each of the speakers had a different angle on what we can do to subdue the negative parts of our thinking and to make the very best of our life, whether or not it's in our work or in our personal life. And it was just really a really great affirmation of everything that I'm learning along the way. And to meet the people in person, really, Barbara, I had met her before, I met Andrea before, but it was just really, really great to meet Dinah. I really enjoyed meeting the people.
Yeah, and Renee came all the way from California as well, all across the country.
So Dan, what was your experience with the?
You can't hear what they're saying. Okay, I'll skip those for now. You guys will see those in the video that we share. So I'll just finish up the pictures. So there's some more group pictures. This was my favorite. This is a good example of one of my favorite parts. We've always said at our retreat, some of the best things happen between the sessions. So just sitting in the lobby, drinking cocoa, conversating, having that downtime with each other is just priceless. So there you go. And this was one of our dinners together. Just again, all of the places that we went were just fantastic. The relationships that were built here will last a lifetime. So there we go. Let me get to the end. There's Demetrius. There's Renee. Oh, this is fun. There's Pam. So this is a little trip down memory lane. It was just last week. These are Dan's pictures. Dan took these pictures from his 9th floor oceanfront room. And this was taken the day right after this aquarium. That's exactly what I was hoping for. Was those pictures. And then let me see. I think I've got some more here. I will just share briefly. Some of them may be repeats. I'm looking at the time. We're going to wrap up in 2 minutes, I promise. Let me just go through some of these quickly. And like I said, yeah, some of them are repeats, but some of them are not. Like this is our reception, the welcome reception we had. I wanted to get these pictures in. This was so fun. Just seeing everybody on the first night. We had our first day was with just our specialists. And then we had our night. You guys have to hear, you'll get a video of Gina and Barbara separately singing in that little aquarium thing, which was really cool. So this is Harry, that's Nancy's husband, which they get the prize for being the cutest couple. Precious relationship goals, so cute. So yeah, this was, like I said, these pictures were not in order. But man, there's Mitzi speaking, Dinah speaking. That fake fireplace, I swear it felt like heat was coming out of it. There's my albino alligator. That was really cool. The aquarium had the festival of trees. There's Nancy. That's the last picture. So we just had a ball, and the learnings. Let me put both of us back up here. We're still processing because it literally just ended Thursday and Friday. Some people left on Friday, so I saw everybody off at the hotel on Friday morning. So we're still kind of recovering from it all. But I can't wait to kind of encapsulate it all, and you guys get to hear from our speakers as well. So Barbara, any closing thoughts to wrap us up?
Well, I think the main reason that we wanted to show you this is just to show you that together we really are better. We have found that if clutter is a problem in your life, clutter in any way, whether it's physical clutter or digital clutter or to-do list clutter or relationship clutter, whatever it is, there is a solution. And 2025 is the year we really need to make our lives less is more.
Yeah.
And we do that together. We have found that there are 4 steps, 4 pillars. We use that word a lot, but I think it's appropriate here, that enable you to accomplish your work and enjoy your life. First, it's that you have to believe that you can do it. That, it's not like, oh, I have ADHD, I'm never going to get organized, or I'm creative and creative people are disorganized, or whatever it is. You have to believe it. And this whole retreat was about, what are your beliefs about getting organized? And we had examples there of people who are solving problems related to clutter that they've been literally trying to solve for decades, and they're making progress. The second thing that you need is a system. You can't clear clutter randomly. That's just shuffling. And we've developed this system through the years. I've been using it now almost 40 years. The third thing you need is accountability. Most people are not going to say, oh, I'll get around to that. Oh, today's the day I'm going to clean my email, or today's the day I'm going to clean my closet. And so accountability is where we come in. But the fourth thing that really pushed the boot camps that we offer over the edge in terms of results is community. There has been so much shame and guilt around it. And partly it's because my claim to fame has been clutter is postponed decisions. And unfortunately, when many people quote it, they put an extra adverb in there and they say clutter is simply postponed decisions, or only postponed decisions, or merely postponed decisions. If you're having trouble making decisions and someone says that to you, then it's like, oh, I should be able to do this myself. I'm a smart person. I should be able to do this. But in fact, the community, and you see other people who are smart people, successful people who are having trouble. And it's like, oh, I'm not the only one. I remember when Stephanie Richter said to me one time, I was so depressed about something that wasn't working. And I said, this is how I feel. And she said, that's normal. And it's like, really? So if you're struggling with clutter, that's normal. It's very common. Everybody struggles with it in a certain way. So we hope that you will consider joining us next year so that you can make 2025 a clutter-free year.
Thank you, Barbara. And one last step you guys can take right now is go to, I don't have the ticker to put up here, but so just listen up and we'll put it in the description box. But we have a webinar up and running right now. It's a pre-recorded webinar, but you can go to it right now and watch www.productiveenvironment.com/webinar. Super easy. productiveenvironment.com/webinar. So if you're new to our channel or new to us, go watch that webinar now, and then you'll be taken to the next step. So thank you all for joining us on this podcast, Pep Talk. Hope this Pep Talk was helpful, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye-bye.